Here we go. Hey, welcome back to the Confidant podcast. My name is Dan Tinquist, your host. So grateful that you chose to join us once again today. Begin this episode with our fatherhood mindset. Here we go. I'm the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality. Ownership is a choice. Today is brand new. So is tomorrow. I'm wholly loved, so I will love wholly. On today's episode, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the family culture framework and understand, what does it look like in the quarterly and the yearly rhythm? Okay, so just like you do in your business, you set up a quarterly review, you set up a yearly review, you set up the goals and the metrics, and you understand, how do we know that we're going where we want to go? In your weekly family meeting, you'd be listening. In your daily journaling, be writing down and understanding, what are the things that each kid wants to contribute to the family? What kind of things are they doing? What kind of things are they understanding are a part of who they are? And begin to implement that into your service, into your adventure, into your contribution. And so, chore charts are a thing that families have made for generations, and it's fine. It's great. They're helpful things because you can kind of monitor and measure, how many times do we make our beds? How many times do we clean up from the table? How many times did we vacuum this week? And do the things, empty the dishwasher, take in the mail, take out the trash, all those things. So building that in and being able to track it so that your family knows, we are all contributing and all pulling our weight. Because if we aren't all pulling our weight, that becomes a problem. But then also sometimes kids will be like, hey, they're not pulling their weight. They didn't empty more than I did, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, okay. But if we have it tracked and understood, okay, we are there. Then you can check in each quarter and say, hey, are you enjoying the things that you're contributing to in the household? Maybe they want to trade. Maybe they don't want to do the dishwasher anymore. Maybe they want to vacuum. Maybe they want whatever. But whatever it is, make sure that there's a way of measuring the contribution, but then also a way of flexibility to understand, you're capturing your kid's experience. Ask them, what do you think about this? Do you enjoy doing this on the weekly? Do you enjoy understanding that this is how you contribute to our family? There's this study, I mentioned it before, but it bears mentioning again that it's the longest longitudinal study Harvard's ever done, and it talks about success in adulthood. And the most successful adults were contributing to their household as kids. And so when we clean up after our kids and don't make them do anything, we're really stealing from their future success, right? And so making sure that contribution is a huge part of your family's rhythm and just culture is really helpful. And actually, we all like living in neater homes, don't we? We all like to not have a super messy house. It's okay if your house looks, quote unquote, lived in, isn't spotless, but to be able to say to your kids and yourself, this is a team effort. Our house looks like this. It feels neat. At any moment, could we have someone in our home, which is a part of service that I didn't really mention, but that's a huge part of what we do is we have an extra room in our house simply to host people, whether that's for months on end with, our kids go to a Spanish immersion school. And so we host the intern for half the year and maybe eventually the whole year just to say hey, you matter. Come into our home and get to know us and come live with us as Americans and teach us your language, teach us your culture, feed us your food. Let us get to know you and understand that hospitality can be a huge part that we serve those around us. But as you look at this, capturing your kids' experience, the quarterly check-in and goal checking can be a really great way to kind of gauge your kids' engagement and level of buy-in to what your family's doing, right? We can send you some worksheets if you want. Just email me, dan@confidant.com. Would love to send you those as you get to that quarterly check-in to say, okay, now quarter one is over. Build that into your normal rhythm. I'm reviewing my business for the quarter. Now let's go and review the family for the quarter. Let's talk about the things that we did, the things that we didn't do that we thought we would. And just be honest with yourself, understanding that this is a big way that we can create the family culture that we all desire. In the end of the year, we can talk about what are the goals that we set, celebrate them, incorporate that into your New Year celebration, and look ahead to the next year, road mapping, where have we been and where are we going. It's a great way to create this culture. Your kids can look forward to that, to understand like, hey, this is part of what we do at the end of the year and the beginning of each year. Within our course, we do have a monthly check-in with me to monitor that check engine light. Bye. Do you want to say hi on my podcast? Okay, come wave at the camera.
Hi.
Okay, you have to show the camera. This is the contribution Kai made today, a sty tape job. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Go, go, go. That break brought to you by my children. All right. As we talk about this monthly check-in, it's really the idea of saying like, what are the metrics? Are you hitting 80% of your goal? Because if you're hitting 80% of your goal, that is a huge momentum into actually improving each month, improving towards that family culture. Will you ever arrive? No. Will new things come up and new roadblocks and new bumps in the road? Yes. But as we do this, you become resilient in your goal setting, you become resilient in your execution, and you become resilient as you lead your family. Because the reality is, the person you married 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, isn't the same person they are today. You're not the same person that they married. Your kids, as they grow from 2 to 5 to 10 to 14, they're not the same kids that they were back then. And so building resiliency and being able to be flexible in this is a really important piece of creating a family culture that's not rigid, that's not controlled like a CEO would control it, but that is fluid and flexible and loving and patient as we move through your life. Remember, like, this is life planning and life living and just being intentional with what you're doing, how you're spending your time, how you're talking about who you are as a family, and helping each other become that. Sometimes this can feel like a lot, like very heavy, like, oh, this big burden I have weighing down on my shoulders. Remember marginal improvement. In his TED Talk, Stephen Dunier talked about how to achieve our most ambitious goals. And let me say that doing this with our family is a very ambitious goal. To build a legacy of wealth and wisdom to give to our kids, to hand off to our kids, but not just the legacy, but the bridges, the relationships that are strong enough to bear the weight of those legacies, right? In order to build the Golden Gate Bridge, could they just like snap their fingers and have it built? No, they had to rely on marginal improvement. They had to rely on little steps day by day by day. And that's what I'm getting at here. We don't have to be perfect and have it all together in quarter one. We can figure out what works, what doesn't work, and be like engineers who say, I have a problem in my family. I want to solve it. We want to become this way. We're not this way. We want to become that way. And you become an engineer of your family culture. Marginal improvement, 1% better every day. You can do this. Like, remember, it's not heavy lifting because it's little habits all throughout your days, weeks, months, with the commitment, the unwavering commitment to always be improving. I want us to think about this. Discipline leads to desire, because the more disciplined you are in a practice, the more you want to do it. You may not like it, but you understand the gift of the discipline, right? And as you move from discipline to desire, you say, I start wanting to do this thing that's really hard that I still don't like to do, but I know it's good for me. And I know if I commit to it and stay disciplined, it is going to achieve results. But eventually, discipline and desire leads to delight. Your life becomes, and the discipline becomes this thing you actually look forward to. You ever seen that in your life? Has that ever happened to you? Whether it was working out or a discipline of like learning a new instrument, or learning a new trade, learning a new skill for your career. Discipline moves to desire, which then can move to delight. So as we do this with our families, remember, we are rebuilding neural pathways, building connections in our brain and rewiring them to see our time with our kids as positive, enjoyable, and we're rewiring our kids' brains for connection with us and with each other. The more that we show up well and fully present for our kids day in, day out, week in, week out, the more safe we become. And when we are the safest place for them, not only do they run to us when they get in trouble and run to us when they have the biggest questions in life, but they actually feel like they're a part of a team. They feel like they are proud to say, I am a fill in your last name. They begin to be proud of who they are and be excited about what your family is about. This is an automatic reward, not just some result on a tracker or within your metrics of your planner and your quarterly deal. The life that you want is the reward of the discipline. So may you be empowered today that the choices you make, the actions that we take today that move us marginally closer to that goal is a gift in itself. The witness that we have to our kids to say, I'm not complete, I don't have it all together, but I'm moving through, I have a goal, I'm heading in the right direction. So if you want to build this on your own, go ahead, be empowered, take it, email me, I'll send you the worksheets. It'd be awesome. I would love to empower you in that way. If you say, I don't really want to build this on my own, I want someone to help me with it and do it together, I'm here. I would love to be your coach. I would love to invite you into the Confidant course and move through this stuff together with other dads who care about becoming the dad that their kids need and are being empowered and equipped every single week to put to bed all the things that they struggled with, all the things that they don't want to be anymore, and awakened to this new reality that you can live a life that isn't in the weekly grind. You can live a life where you're not worried about what other people are thinking in your parenting because you know your kids better than anyone else and you're executing it at a high level. You can become the dad that your kids need in short order. It doesn't take years and months. It takes a really intentional window of time to say, I'm going to do this. And then as you implement those habits and practices across the next coming weeks and months, it starts to light a fire in you. I've seen it in my clients, and it's amazing to see them come alive and be like, I never knew fatherhood could be so fun. I never knew it could be so fulfilling and so filled with just adventure and risk and challenge and growth. And it can. And I would love to bring you on that journey. So you're not just high achieving in the boardroom. You're not just killing it at work and building this legacy of wealth, but you are building the relationships at home that you're just as proud of as you are your business or your legacy. May your kids be the thing that you're most proud of because you've been an intentional dad and you're becoming the dad that your kids need. We'll see you in the next episode.